very much indeed. Well, now, from an increased risk of suicide to long-term dependency, millions of people across England who've been prescribed antidepressants have reason to be anxious about such well-documented side effects. But now a leading mental health charity is warning of the dangers of coming off psychiatric drugs. Our science reporter Tom Clark has been hearing what it's like to stop taking the medication.
It was just extreme in every way. I had extreme pains. My legs hurt so badly that I at one point considered sawing them off because I thought it would hurt less.
Angela Kay describing her experience coming off antidepressant drugs. But with 29 million prescriptions written annually for antidepressants, she's one of thousands with a similar story.
I was really lucky with my GP. He was extremely generous with his time and very, very supportive.
But that's not the norm, according to the first study to ask patients about their experiences coming off psychiatric medicines. Many said they were very much on their own. The study polled more than 200 users of psychiatric medicines. 60% had problems coming off their drugs, 68% in the case of people taking SSRIs, the commonest form of antidepressant. Add to that, 70% of respondents said they felt pressured to start taking the drugs in the first place. But when it came to stopping, 40% said their GP was no help in the process, and 1 in 10 said their GP actually made things worse.
I think what was really surprising was over half the GPs that people approached in the survey sample said they actually found the GPs either unhelpful or extremely unhelpful. And we were surprised at the degree that medical practitioners seem unable to help people come off drugs when they want to.
The new report recommends that users should be given a bigger say in their treatment, and that voluntary organisations, often staffed by former users, should be allowed a greater role in helping patients make choices, with support from primary care trusts. But as well as problems with support, the report also speaks to an ever-growing criticism of antidepressants, that they're being widely overprescribed and that side effects, including withdrawal, were never adequately recognised. Points raised earlier this year in a report by the Select Committee on Health, but that weren't addressed strongly enough in the government's response, mental health charities say.
I think the recent report by the Health Select Committee clearly says that we need more information and less proactive marketing and more help to the consumers to deal with the uses of medication. And sadly, the government doesn't seem to have been particularly endorsing that very strongly in its response last week.
Alternatives are on the agenda, according to the Department of Health.
A programme of work is currently being put together to improve access to psychological therapies. This will include providing GPs with more information to support their patients and offer alternatives to taking medication.
New clinical guidelines are also promised to help inform GPs about non-drug treatments for mental illness.